It was all for naught. Two of those touchdowns came in garbage time. So technically, we only put 7 points on the board.
Yeah.
Before Washington started to relax a little bit because they had the game so far in hand, it wasn't even funny.
Well, when
And
it was
special teams.
17-10, it felt like we at least could claw back in, fix some of the mistakes that we were making and get back into it. But
Yeah,
just wasn't happening.
no, it was horrible. What's your take, Will? I know you wanted to come on and vent.
Oh, baby. Woo! What the fuck are we doing? Is the biggest
Right.
question, right? Our offensive line looks lost. Every single time we are trying to do something, it looks like one of our guys gets beat. Somebody doesn't know what they're doing. A guy goes unblocked. I'd be like, honestly, our offensive line looked horrible. And I'm not looking at the individual player anymore. I'm looking at the position coach. What are you teaching? Are you teaching the reach and width? The, hey, let's not pass block? Hey, the no block. What are we teaching here? Okay, that's my question.
We're
And when
teaching
I
them how to
look
be matadors.
hey, we're
Step aside and
really
let the
good at
ball
that.
go.
And I'm going to tell you the truth right now. That right there is Pete Carroll's son. And I think
Oh,
he's the weak link in this coaching staff. And if it was any other coach right now, we would be asking for his ass. And that's an unfortunate truth right there. The offensive line, I don't understand why JPJ was under concussion protocol, and then you bring him back, and it's a big deal, and we're announcing all these things, and he doesn't see the field at all. Capel was getting killed. Parham was getting killed. Meredith, I don't know if he's making the right calls.
And that's the other problem too. If he's not calling out the right audibles to the offensive line, then that's on him.
And that's a big deal. Let's look at it. I mean, like when Geno Smith was bringing a running back up in the middle of the whole formation to bring him up in pass pro, because the Commanders had been bringing pressure up the middle and getting home. I'll be like, he brought up, I think it was Zeus or Genti, and like was pointing at him, hey, where there's going to be a double A gap blitz. And what do the both linebackers do? They both bail. But Geno was under duress all game long. We gave up 5 sacks. People can say, oh, yeah, Geno was holding on to the ball. Either we're not getting open downfield, or Geno's extending the play because he's feeling pressure that isn't there because the offensive line is not holding up their end of the bargain. But guys, you guys let me know what you guys saw. I mean, like, this is really what I saw offensively. I think defensively, we forgot our tackling at home the first half. I'd be like, really, it was disappointing to see a running back that's and I don't know what, third, fourth string, breaking tackles, looking like Derrick Henry, and busting a 60-yarder right up the gut on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Jeff?
Mark says, I think we should look at unsigned free agent O-linemen. There ain't nothing out there that's better than what we got. There's absolutely nothing. I've looked at that list, and it's a handful of guys. I'd be more apt to give Caleb Rogers and Grant a shot. I'd rather put them out there and give them a chance. Why not?
What do you got to lose? What do you got to
exactly.
lose?
That's why I said it. It's like at this point, what's the difference? We're 1-2. We've still got a tough ass schedule coming up. I don't know how many games we're going to win if we look at the schedule.
And let's not get out of hand, though. Let's not get out of hand. Who would have thought we would have beat the Commanders? We all thought Jaden Daniels was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really think the Raiders were going to go in there and win this game when you had your win total? I'll be like, did you see this game as a win?
I'd expect better.
I had it as a win. I did.
I didn't have it as a win with Jaden Daniels.
I was a flip when the schedule came out on that, but I could tell you this, that I didn't expect that kind of effort, and that was effort. That wasn't you. We can sit here and pound the table for Brennan Carroll and Chip Kelly and fire this guy. And that ain't gonna fucking solve nothing. It's the little beaten muscle inside every one of them chests on the 5 linemen that were playing yesterday, and that was fucking hard. There was no heart whatsoever. The only thing that they did good that whole fucking game was turn around and pick the guy up off the ground. That's all they did yesterday. They spent the whole game turning around, picking the guy up off the ground. There was times where Washington blocked themselves. They were getting so much pressure up the middle.
Okay. So let me ask you this, though. Were there not a lot of plays where the offensive linemen looked confused? Where they literally didn't block?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when we're saying, hey, that's for me, they're not being taught what they're looking for. I mean, like you're blocking ghost. So that's where I'm like, I question what you're being coached, what you're being taught, what is going on in the meeting rooms during the week to say, hey, man, you're blocking air. Cisco, hire Tom Cable. I will pound the table for Tom Cable right now. I wish.
And Tom Cable's not a bad offensive line coach. He's had some bad.
Great O-line.
He's had some bad players that he's had to coach up. But
you
know what? I mean,
hold on. We got a super chat from Brennan Carroll. I'm teaching my guys to be matadors. Yeah, you are, and you're doing a hell of a job of it too. Thanks for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. Dawn's here. She says hi to you, Will.
Hey, Dawn.
Oh, okay, Dawn. I give you a super chat, and I get nothing.
No,
I gave Don a super chat the other day.
But and that's where I'm questioning things, right? Because when your offensive line looks confused, and really like the guys are out there and they're like, oh wait, I'm not supposed to block that guy. And I'm going to tell you, one time Bobby Wagner lined up right in the A gap, right over Parham. Meredith and him split the freaking wall like the ocean had just come through, and nobody blocks Bobby Wagner, who's in the A gap. I had never played offensive line. I've coached
2 sacks,
but
Bobby Wagner, old man Wagner, got 2 sacks in that game.
And I'm going to tell you this, and I know for a fact when you coach it, you always say you block the most dangerous guy, and it's always worked from the inside out. It's always been that A-gap guy that takes precedence over every other guy. How in the fuck did we not block that guy?
Yeah, go.
You're asking the wrong guys. It's so bad. Did you were you in the chat listening to Pete Carroll's press conference just a few minutes ago?
I wasn't.
I played I brought it up and I played just the audio so we could hear it. That press conference was about maybe 7 minutes long from him. And I feel like I didn't get a single answer. And Bueno said it in the chat too. He goes, these reporters are just throwing up softball questions to him. Like nobody asked him, like, why is JPJ not out there? Well, they might have asked him that, but like Parham, nobody questions him about Parham. Why is Parham still out there? You sit there and say yesterday the competition's still open between JPJ and Kappa. Why is there no competition for Parham? Obviously, the weakest link on that offensive line. Why is there no competition for him? Why isn't Kappa competing with him and just let JPJ be JPJ? I know that it was a short week. They didn't hit. They didn't practice. That's why JPJ wasn't out there on the offensive line. That's exactly what he explained yesterday in the press conference after the game. He was out there for special teams, like for punts and field goals and such, but he wasn't out there in the regular offensive scheming. They had Kappa playing the whole game because it was a short week and they didn't want to risk it.
I agree with you on that. I mean, I totally understand the reasoning why they didn't play JPJ, but middle of the second quarter, they should have pulled Parham's ass and put JPJ in at left guard at minimum. At minimum.
Hey, he said it right there. I'm going to ask questions because if your player is available and You don't want. I don't want to hear this shit about longevity anymore.
What's up, Jay Jackson?
You know, when we're sitting there, we're limiting a guy's reps because we're going, oh, we can only give him 10 carries because we want to see the longevity of his career. I'm like, we understand that these guys have a limited time. We understand that these guys want to play. Man, we got to win now. JPJ not playing in this game is a big question mark for me. The interior offensive line as a whole, center, right guard, left guard, are huge question marks for the Raiders right now. And I want to, hey Jay, and I want to know what your guys' thoughts on all of that. I mean, like, should we just call it a spade and go, hey, JPJ, play center, solidify that position, we'll figure it out with the guards? Or what's the solution there? What do you guys see?
Well, like I said, we need a spark. Something needs to happen, and it needs to happen sooner than later, because if we wait until the bye week, it's too late already, because that's traditionally when teams make big changes is on their bye week. That's still 4 weeks away. 4 weeks away, the season's lost at that point. If you have any aspirations to make anything out of this season, you got to make the change now. We're back on a normal schedule now. We're back home. You know, they're already home now. You've got a full week of practice. It's a home game this week. Make the changes during the week. Get out there and hit. Get out there, get these guys in pads and start smacking each other around. Put the rookies in. Do something. You need to spark something in this offensive line, plain and simple. It's the biggest weakness on this team right now is that O-line. Go ahead. I'll let Jason.
No, you hit the nail on the head, and I think we talked about that Saturday night.
We did.
I mean, that was like
before the game. We talked about it.
Yeah,
and it's true.
I think that's what made you sick Saturday night. We kept talking about it.
Yeah, I couldn't concentrate. I was so just beside myself. I had to leave.
Yeah. Bottom line is, short answer is, we don't have a solution because there really isn't one. We can try. I mean, we can do little pepper things here and there to try and get a spark. But it's too late in the season to be looking at, free agent or and I'm not into. Let's face it. Let's not even think about trading any draft capital to get a guard or tackle now. Let's not. I mean, we have there are guys on that roster that can do the job. They just have to do it. They have to do it. And I myself believe that, why don't we look at week 16 of the 2024 season, who was the starting lineup on that offensive line that week?
Right there.
Yeah, we could
have gotten an offensive lineman in the second round instead of Betch. What has Betch done?
Good.
What has he done?
Hey, he caught that pass in the fourth quarter.
One catch for 10 yards. That probably shouldn't have even been a first down, because it seriously did not look like he got his second foot down.
You asked, Jeff. You asked. That's what he did. So,
but what has he done consistently for this team?
Nothing.
Second round pick. Second round.
He should be a starter, right? I mean, like,
I've seen third and fourth and fifth rounders do more than a second round pick that we've just grabbed. I'm sorry, but that was a wasted pick. And I'm starting to seriously consider Genti at number 6, based on the offensive line that we have, was a bad pick. That's not the pick. If we, in hindsight, you go back and redo this draft, and you got this offensive line right now, would you still pick Genti at number 6, or would you go something different?
I'm gonna tell you like this: the Raiders right now are like a Ford Pinto in a Ferrari body. We got all these shiny things on the outside, right? But we're really
are they shiny though? But are they really shiny though?
Like, look, dude. I mean, like, look at it. We have Genti, great. Like, oh yeah, people are like, running back, great position player, best of his class. We got tight end. We got Bowers. We got best tight end in the class. We got a guy that can catch the ball, make a difference. We got Mayer, who just knocked himself out during the game. I'll be like, hey, I hope he's all right. I mean, like, that was an all-effort play. I can't hate on the guy. He was out there busting his ass, and he got injured. But, I mean, like, he was another shiny piece. We had all these shiny pieces, but, man, look at it. The meat and potatoes, we didn't have it. And that's just a fact.
What's up, tall Ken? I think your car analogy is off too. I think we're more like a Pinto that wants to be a DeLorean is probably the closest.
Hey,
We're just a,
hey,
we're
We
just
ain't
a
no way
Pinto.
near gonna
or,
be a
or,
fucking
or a
Ferrari.
souped up Miata. We're looking like a Pinto trying to look like a
Even a
Miata.
Miata's too good. I'm going with a stainless steel, dull cut, dull shined
But hey,
fucking DeLorean.
I'm with Jay Downs, man. I'm telling you, I feel like the position guys are there. We're just not
What's up,
putting
Joseph
them in
Hahn?
the right position. We're not putting the guys in a position to succeed. And that to me has to do with coaching. The guy that's coaching them up and putting that O line together every single week, looking at Glaze getting put inside Gino's lap every fucking play, like he was this week, looking at our interior offensive line just letting Olay blocks happen all every week. That's on you. You're putting that O line together. You're going to Chip Kelly and you're going like, these are my best 5 guys, putting them in those positions, and we're not succeeding. So that's why I'm looking at the O-line coach.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it. I'm watching the chat here, and I'm just gonna say it outright. No, I am not looking forward to the draft. 2, and I told Jeff this last week when I said Gino's fine, relax. Oh no, relax. It's not him. I mean, the plays. Even yesterday, he was under pressure 21 times. He was sacked 5 times.
Yep.
So 21 times that he dropped back to pass, he was fighting for his fucking life. And he was doing everything. As much as we want to give credit for Genty for getting those 60 yards rushing, that he had to do that on his own, I'm going to say 220 yards of Gino's passing he had to do on his own.
Agreed.
He got very little help.
And, he looked like a jailbreak back there. He was running for his life most of the game.
The touchdown pass was a perfect example. Is he knew at that point the 5-man pressure that was coming. His guys were not going to stop it. He got out as soon 1001, 1002, bam! He broke outside the pocket, rolled out, and he was able to hit Tucker in the end zone.
What's up, Omar?
So, and I'm going to ask you this, Jay, and I think just looking at the game. With all those pressures, I think I would be seeing like fantasy pressure too. Like I would be imagining that my time clicker inside as a quarterback, it would be going faster because I keep getting hit. I keep getting activated. I'd be like, and people are like, "Oh, you know what? He's holding on to the ball. He's extending it. He's not reading the field." I'm like, bro, he's under pressure every fucking play.
5 sacks yesterday. He got sacked 5 fucking times. 5 sacks. And they weren't like because he was holding on the ball forever. It's because they were crashing that line so fast that he didn't have a chance. Why do you think he's in the shotgun 90% of the time? Because he needs that. If he goes on the center and does a drop back, by the time he plants his foot to throw the ball, he's done. He's going to be cooked. You're going to kill him, or he's going to have to scramble as he's backpedaling. Or as he's getting back into his stance to throw the ball, he's going to have to turn and run with it right away because the defensive line is already crashed in. At one point yesterday, I was watching, they had 6 guys on the fucking front line. We got 5 up front. We can't block 3, let alone fucking 6. Luckily the 2 linebackers backed off and dropped back in the coverage, but they still came with those 4 and they still got in on them. So it's like, I don't know if the offensive line, if they're in panic mode. The only one that I think is really kind of holding his own, and you don't hear anybody bitching about him, is Colton Miller. Because Colton Miller is Colton Miller, but he's still making mistakes, but they're not as blaringly obvious as the other 3 guys or the other 4 guys.
And Jeff, you said something, and Colton Miller did lose a lot of battles yesterday in key positions.
He did.
And let's just be real. Every single one of those guys up front got their ass whooped. And it's like you said, hey, Jay Downs, how many of those sacks were with 4-man pressures? With 4-man pressures. I believe they had like 2 or 3.
I think they had a 5-man pressure probably maybe 20% of the time, if that. A lot of it was 4-man.
And I'm looking at that with the 4-man pressure. We couldn't block 4 linemen with 5 or 6.
Yeah, they pointed that out on the telecast. Mark Schlereth pointed that out on the telecast. It's like they're bringing 4 guys with 5 men to block, technically 6 because the tight end staying in, and they're still pushing them back.
Exactly. So
I think
tell
the
me
line
like
owned us yesterday. Owned us. They pushed us around like we were little kids.
Jeff, how many times did you see Glaze getting put inside of Gino's lap?
Oh, he was on
DJ Glaze, who was on skates.
Somebody said it in the chat. He was in the backfield so much he should have played fullback because every time he turned around, Glaze was getting just beat and beat bad or getting pushed back constantly. It was horrible. You know,
the one Von Miller sack was Von Miller got that sack in 2.2 seconds.
Yep.
2.2 seconds off the line. All Von Miller did
was 36-year-old
done with this 36-year-old Von Miller who plays 10 snaps a game, doesn't practice. All he does is come in and work out.
2 past knee surgeries, act like he never lost a step. He played like he was second year in the league. Played phenomenal yesterday. And that's because of who he was going up against. You know, Glaze just could not handle him. You know? Yeah, this is a guy that doesn't need to practice. The team knows what they got with him, you know, and he goes out there, no practice during the week, and does what he does best. And that's disrupt the offense, get at the quarterback, you know, and he did it, and he did his job well. No two ways about it, you know. Now, could you imagine if Max went up against a left tackle like Glaze on a consistent basis week in and week out? Max would have 20-plus sacks in the season.
Maybe that's
why he does in practice.
That's why he looks so good in practice.
Yeah,
that's why he looks good in practice.
Great practice. He's doing well. Look what he's going up against. A wet dish rag could be better than some of our offensive linemen right now. Good God.
So this brings me to the next matter of fact that because you guys both have already said it, we've talked about it, is our weak ass offensive line is not helping our defensive line get prepared.
No, not at all.
I agree with you. I mean, like,
it's common. You know, iron sharpens iron, and if they don't have any iron, they're just using rubber bands. Then that's what we're gonna get. And what was the biggest thing yesterday? The trenches.
It was the lack of yes, we got our asses whooped in the trenches, and I'm going to say like that. Defensively, though, I felt like it was more lack of tackling. I mean, like we were throwing shoulders in there, we weren't wrapping up. I'd be like, we look like some strippers out there.
Although that 60-yard run was going to be a tackle until Chen hit freaking White, knocked him right off the tackle. I was like, oh my god, that's Pop Warner shit.
But I get it. So did you see that too? Though they weren't wrapping up, so they were just throwing the shoulder there, and White threw the shoulder in there, and his arms weren't wrapped around the guy.
Yeah, I got a shout out to Tall Ken in the chat. He's been spamming the chat basically, but all the shit he's saying is hilarious, but it's fucking on point too. You know, like he's talking about Geno sees 6 against 5. Omaha might be taken, but shit, there are 50 other states and a lot of cities. All the
I like one.
Precious 5 boys to block, and we just. I'm not gonna. That's like on 805 show last night. I sent a super chat to him while they were talking. I said, I'm packing my bags. I'm heading to Vegas. I'm going to be the first 55-year-old offensive starting lineman for the Raiders ever.
Hey. I'm playing right guard at 53.
I think Jason and I could go out there and stop for this offensive line and do a better job than fucking Parham and fucking Kappa right now. Because
I think
we've got the heart to want to go out there and do right because we've got a lot invested in this team, and it's different. We're not getting paid to go out there. We're going out there as diehard Raider fans, want to see this team do good. I'll put my fucking body on the line and go out there and play for this goddamn team in a heartbeat. I got the size. I'm just under 400 pounds. I ain't got the height.
All you gotta do is give Jeff a 32-ounce Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, man. He'll do it.
Pay me in Dunkin' Donuts coffees, and I'll be fine. Pay me in Dunkin' Donuts coffees and the loaded hash browns, and I'll be fine. That's my payment.
Hey, I'm gonna make this announcement now.
Give me all the free Raider gear that I can wear. That's in my size. Which isn't that much.
Anywhere from 6'1" to 6'5",
I'm
300
60
to
even,
350 pounds, can bench press 225 pounds about 25 to 30 times. The Raiders are looking for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 6'4", 325. And last year while I was working out, I did 225 7
What's up,
times.
Panda?
Ooh! Hey, here we go. Here we go, Jay Downs. Hey, I'll be your agent. Don't worry. The Raiders will sign you today.
Yeah.
Loaded Chipotle hash.
Raiders can recover. Let us pray hard.
But
oh, you're leaving Tall Ken. Well, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. You actually made me laugh with some of your comments in the chat.
Yeah.
There was just so many of them. I couldn't put them all up. That was great. They say, when do or suck Raiders till I chuck, duck, fuck, whatever. Yeah, loaded Chipotle hash browns. Dude, that wrap they had, that wake up wrap, is awesome too, with the hash browns, the bacon, the Chipotle, the egg. Oh, it's so good.
I can't talk about food right now.
Chris can't talk about food right now because he's getting his teeth drilled.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck he's going on. That's why I came on solo. I told him, I said, I'm still going to go on.
Poor guy.
I was falling asleep as I was putting the studio together. It took me an hour and a half to put the studio together because every time I start typing something, I was dozing. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, all right, I got to get this done.
Yeah, this was last night was a good sleep. But hey, like I yesterday after the game, listening to the post game with JT and Erica and Lincoln Kennedy and whatnot. I want to emphasize what they said. At this point, us as fans, what we can't do is we can't be spreading that we need to fire Kelly, we need to fire Pete Carroll.
No.
That shit we've been doing for the last fucking 25. That's what's got us in this problem to begin with.
We'll be right back there. Yeah, we'll be right back at the same spot again. So firing coaches is not.
I don't think it's a head coach or a coordinator problem. Again, I don't think it's a head coach or a coordinator problem.
No,
this is an offensive line problem, and it has to be in that offensive line room.
And it falls back on the offensive line coach.
And then that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the offensive line coach.
It's a position coach situation, is what it is.
Because I don't think it's Pete Carroll making that he's making the ultimate decision on the JPJ Meredith thing. I think that's somebody else that's putting that out there, and because Pete Carroll he lets his players or his coaches be autonomous and do their thing. He just tries to empower them to be better coaches and give his insight and what he wants in his philosophy, and then let them do their coaching. But with Brennan, if Brennan's going to his dad and saying, hey, I'd rather have this because JPJ and this and that, the other thing, whatever. We know, everybody that's watched the Raiders know, somebody's going to have to give Jeff CPR.
I'm just thinking, I said it, and then Bueno just typed it in the chat, and it just hit me. I'm like, oh, yeah, that didn't sound
good. Chris getting his mouth drilled. Yeah, and it was probably the good side of his mouth too. That he was getting drilled on.
Oh my god!
Well, he'll be a little bit sore.
Maybe.
Open wide. I can't open.
No, but
hey Becky, what's up?
I think in the long run he's given them ample opportunity to make the decisions. But it's time if that's the case, there's probably a point in time he's got to step in and go, look, this ain't working.
I agree. So, but again, and this is where I'm worried about that. So, do you remember at the beginning of the season where he's like, "Oh, we'll mix it up until we find it out the right answer during the season"? That to me, Jay, that worries me as a coach. Yeah. I don't like that. I like having solutions to my problems before they even rise. Go ahead, Jeff.
That's exactly what I said, Panda, earlier. I know you got in a little late. I agree 100% with what you just said in the
Yep.
chat.
We all do.
Why not? What do we got to lose?
Yep.
They can't be any worse than what we're already going through. Well, they could be worse, but
even if they are, at least they got
something. Something has to happen. Something's got to snap here.
You know, even if we start Caleb Rogers over Parr. I'm not saying both of them should be put out there right away. But what the hell, man? Why not put Rogers in Parham's spot? I've seen enough of this shit. That's 12 freaking quarters of stupidity I've seen in that hole. Go sit in the stands with your mom, Dylan. We're gonna play Caleb Rogers. That's what you're gonna do. Even if he's not the best player, at least Dylan will get the message like, oh shit. Yeah, you're not entitled to that position. Okay, it wasn't given to you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to earn it. That goes back to, like Will said, the compete portion of it. Has Parham been in a compete mode with anybody?
I haven't seen it. This is the thing. I love what you just said. Hey, what is the big T-shirts that all the Raiders fans have right now? Compete, right? They put Pete Carroll right there, and it says compete. Yeah. Where's the competition? Where is this whole thing that we're going to fight, that we're going to have all this into us in practice, that we're going to go in there and we're going to kick ass, we're going to take names, and we're going to come out on fire? Tell me, where did we have that in this Commanders?
All preseason hype.
And again, I'm like, we didn't come out on fire.
It's gonna be the poop emoji, and it's gonna be compost.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what this is like. This is just like a pile of shit for an offensive line out there. Seriously. Yeah. And I don't normally talk a lot of shit about the team and negative stuff, but dude, it's so blaringly obvious what the issue is. Anybody that sits here with a blind eye and says, "Oh no, the offensive line, they're okay," well, then you obviously don't watch the game.
Yeah,
you just look at the box score and go, "Oh, we did okay." No, watch the games.
I also want to be real too, right? Like I said, the Commanders are way above us. Last year, they're a playoff team. They got a quarterback. They're a team that's ready to compete for a championship. Let's be honest with it. The Commanders are that type of team. That's why they spent all that money on Scary Terry. They're a win right now situation. That's why Magic Johnson is their owner. Mm-hmm. Magic Johnson is a winner. He does that wherever he goes. Yep. You know, he got the Dodgers, they're winning. Now he got the Commanders, they're winning. They're built.
That's what we thought was going to happen with Tom Brady, but it's going to take more than one season, obviously.
Exactly. And that's where we got to be realistic.
And that's why Raiders fans are not realistic. The offensive line, that's the worst part. And that's my bread and butter, and that's how I know Jason is too. You know, it's like, why? You know, why did we not address the offensive line in more in depth during the offseason? You know, it's like, what the fuck? That was the biggest blaring problem last season. You know, Colt Miller injured. You know, JPJ and Glaze came out there. Parham was an issue all season long last year. The fact that he made the 53-man roster, let alone the starting spot at the left guard, blows my mind. Why did we not put competition in there for him and get someone else in there to beat him out? You know, I just don't get why we're in that status quo with, we'll be okay. It'll work itself out. Like Pete said after the first preseason game, this will work in progress. Could take 2 weeks, could take months, could be way late in the season before we figure this out. No, I don't want to hear that from you. That's the last thing I want to hear from my head coach, that you don't know what's going on with the offensive line. You think we still need to figure this out weeks down the road. Seriously? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Here we are, week 3, and the offensive line is the worst unit on this team. The worst. By far the worst unit. And you're going to get your running back that you drafted, number 6 overall, killed. You're going to destroy this kid. This kid's going to get injured before the season's over if we don't address this line. Because he's going to get worked to death, or he's going to get hit on a bad call, on a bad play because someone crashes the line, and they're going to take him out because they can't hold back a simple defensive tackle. The simplest job in the world, I'm sorry, as an offensive lineman. It's easy. Block the guy in front of you. Don't let him by you. Play bodyguard is what you're doing. Just stop that guy. Don't let him through. And if you need help, you might have help. You might not. Other than that, you got to stop the guy. I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but I've played the part. I know what I'm talking about. If you can't stop somebody, you just shut the whole system right down. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And my dogs are going crazy.
We are all in agreement that the offensive line is in shambles, that the offensive line needs help, that the right tackle.
But we knew this last season. That's the whole point, and we didn't address it.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So how do we address that now, though? That's the thing.
Now it's too late.
Now it's too late.
What he just said, it's too late.
So is it that we don't have the players?
What's up, Dale?
Or is it that we don't have the coaching? Or is it a combination that we didn't have the players and then we put the most rookie coach in one of the most important positions in football?
We've got the coaching. We just don't have them in the right places. That's the problem.
And that's what I'm saying.
Brendan Carroll, I'm sorry, should not be the offensive line coach. He's actually the run coordinator, which makes him an actual coordinator, which means he's being groomed for future positions, as Gravy explained to me last night when I was on with him. That's how you have to look at this. So he's the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach.
So tell me like this: where's our run game? Where's our offensive line? Where's our run game? Where's our offensive line? Then Chip Kelly calling play action on third down when we have no run game. Tell me what's the logic in that? So that's where I keep going back to it. I'm looking at the O-line coach. I came on the show and I said it. I'm not calling for people's jobs, but I'm looking at people and I'm looking real hard. Because there's one position on this team that keeps messing up. It's the O-line. Mm-hmm. We're struggling to move people. We're struggling to block people. Now you're telling me he's the run game coordinator.
He is.
How many yards are we averaging on the ground right now?
Well,
not much.
At one point, we were averaging 1.1 yards per carry until the second half yesterday.
Which was worse than what we did last year for a whole season. We finished at 2.3 or 2.6?
Something like
that last year. Either way, it was under 3 yards per carry.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for that one game with, what's his name, or number 8, Abdullah. He was the only one that ran for 100 yards.
Rushed for 100 yards.
Yeah. So that's why I go back to that game is who was the offensive line in that game? What were we doing? If that's the only thing that we got, if that's the only ingredients in the cabinet that we have, then we need to use those ingredients and hope we can have some semblance of success. And just some semblance.
The cook and your sous chef suck. It's like you could have the best ingredients.
I don't think Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly suck.
Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your offensive line coach who's putting this offensive line out there.
Can I just address this real quick from this Warab? He says, all you podcast Raider fans are the same at the beginning of the year. It's, we're going to be good. We're going to compete year after year. Then 3 or 4 games, your brains are lost with, I don't know. All right, so I'm going to address this real quick. First of all, I did not feel that way going into the 2024 season. I thought 2024 season was going to be mediocre at best. I figured us to be at least a 500 team. Okay. Yep. This year, all the hype was there because of who was our coach, who we drafted, who our quarterback was, who we brought in free agency, who we let go. It looked like, and with the new owner and everything. So, yeah, there was a lot of hype all around that we were going to be a much better team this year. Okay. But certain things weren't addressed. And I said it the night of the draft. And anybody that watched that draft that night can attest for what I said and how I reacted. When we drafted Genty, I was ripped. I was pissed because I didn't think we were ready for a running back of his caliber without the proper offensive line. So I called that as far back as the draft. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the draft shows because we did all 3 of them. All 3 days we were live. And I said it then. I said we didn't address the offensive line. And then we come back in the second round and we take a wide receiver. We drop the ball again. We didn't draft an offensive lineman until the end of the third or fourth round on Friday night. And I was finally a little bit happy. Oh, that was the third round, right? I
Third
forget
round,
now.
yeah. It was Saturday.
And
yeah.
I was happy at that point because we finally
Friday
addressed
night.
the offensive line and we grabbed two guys right off the bat. But we grabbed them a little bit too late. We should have grabbed them sooner. So yeah, I was still excited because of the direction we were going in. Genty grew on me a little bit because I saw what Pete Carroll was trying to plan, but it didn't work out. We didn't do any free agency moves, and I called that one also. If we don't do something in free agency for offensive line, this team's we're gonna be in a bad spot. I've called it all fucking season long, all preseason. So don't sit there and say that I was all hyped. Yeah, did I think we were going to win more games this season? Do I think we were going to be 2-1 at this point? Yes, I did, because I thought we were going to win that Monday night game. I had us pegged to win that one. New England, I had picked us to win. This one, I was 50-50 on. When Jaden Daniels wasn't going to play, I was giving us the win on this one. You know,
a chance to win.
I'm aggravated. A chance to win. I'm aggravated as a former offensive lineman at what I'm seeing out there, and it's just the overall just basic stuff that's just pissing me off that I just don't understand why this is happening. Yeah. I literally took my hat off during when we picked Genty, and I just threw it across the room, and I sat here for about 5 minutes just staring at the camera, and I didn't say anything. Yep. Chris finally said, "Are you all right?" I said, "No." And then I went on my spiel after that.
As far as me, going back to the same topic, as far as me, when we drafted Genty, I kind of knew why we drafted Genty. He was the best player at that spot at the sixth position. And usually, first round, you try and score with the best player that you could get your hands on. Period. Doesn't matter. It goes back to when we drafted Brock Bowers. We needed an offensive lineman. But I'm telling you, when we drafted Brock Bowers, that was the best pick in that draft. Bar none. Even though we needed what we need versus what we can get our hands on are two different things. Okay, we got Genty. Now we need to address the offensive line, right? How are we going to do that? How are we going to address the offensive line? So going forward, as far as this year, we just got to work with what we got to work with. Staying on the same topic as all you Raider fans. No, don't do that shit because I've been around way too long. Okay.
Yeah.
My prediction, and you could go back to previous podcasts, I had a 6 to 8 wins and a more competitive team. Being more competitive. Being able to win games, be in a position to win the games, and not beat double digits every week. Well, guess what? We're out of 3 games, we gotten beat already twice by double digits. So maybe I'm wrong on that part. That's just an alias prediction that I throw out there. Everybody does it. But as far as being overhyped or, every year Raider fan says it's our year. No, we know what's right, what's wrong. And me and Jeff, as long as we've been talking about it, and I was happy when we drafted those 2 guys in the 3rd round, Jeff. I thought,
we both were.
Mm-hmm. Especially Caleb Rogers, because I've seen Caleb Rogers play. And he's got a dog in him, And I truly think it's not so much his ability; it's just he's raw.
And he's not a little dude either; he's a big boy.
He's a big dude, and that's why I even yesterday I mentioned in one of the chats. I said, at this point, why not put Lucky Tossi in at guard? At least he ain't going to get driven 5 yards back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he ain't giving up.
You ain't driving him.
No.
He might get 20 holding calls, or he might false start because he doesn't understand the basic nuances of the game. But when it comes to Mongo hit guy, Mongo's going to hit guy.
Yo, hey, and I'm going to address this as well because I'm going to tell you to go back and look at the film, jackass, because we both said it. Hey, it's going to be an 8-9 season, maybe 10 wins at most. We weren't sitting here saying we're going to be a playoff team, anything like that. We do our research here. Hey, we said, hey, we're going to be a more competitive team. We want to see a bigger fighting spirit. Have we seen that out of the team? Yes, I've seen some fighting spirit. I've seen us try to stay in games. Did I say, hey, we're going to beat the Commanders? No, I did not have this as a win. Last week, did I have it as a win? No, I did not have it as a win. The first week, yes, I did have it as a win.
We
Next
all
week,
had great hope after that first game.
and I'm going to tell you like this: game one, or this next game, I do have this as a win. So I'm thinking the Raiders would be 2-2 at this part of the season. So hey, go ahead, do your little click. Make sure you subscribe to our pages. Make sure you start following the videos so you can follow up with us and start talking some more shit. So let's go to the next.
Yeah, and Donut says it too. He says, this last offseason was a time to upgrade the interior offensive line. There were so many good IOLs available, and we didn't.
But let's be real, Jeff. We had so many holes on this team.
Oh, we did. But again, it all starts up front, plain and simple. That's the big thing. Because without that, the rest of you could have the world's greatest quarterback back there, and if that offensive line ain't giving him the protection to do what he needs to do his job, then having that great quarterback or that great running back there ain't going to matter. I don't even think Barry Sanders had this bad of an offensive line when he was in Detroit.
No.
I don't even think Barry Sanders could run with this line, to be honest with you. I see, and I've said this earlier that the only one that could probably run behind this offensive line would be Barry Sanders. After yesterday, I don't think he could either.
Let me tell you like this: Jay Downs hit the nail on the head when we said, "Hey, look at the year before situation. We drafted the best player available at that time, and we hit with gold. Powers was an absolute monster. You have a guy that just came off his best rushing season in college football, looking like a complete stud, looking like a complete cannot-miss player. Why wouldn't you take the same risk when he falls in your lap? Why wouldn't you try to repeat the same thing? The biggest issue is you guys are correct, is the offensive line. But when a quality player at that position falls to your lap, you can't pass him up. It's hard to pass up a guy like that.
I still would pass on him today. If the draft was today, knowing what I know about this team right now, I still would have passed.
Okay, so you would have passed up and we would have drafted an offensive lineman, correct?
Yep.
Let's say we drafted an O-lineman. But look at the coach. Look at the way that they're being coached up right now. Would that offensive lineman really make a difference right now on this O-line?
I mean, I get what you're saying there, but I would still. You didn't have to go for that shiny object running back with that first pick. Is what I'm getting at. You could have gone with an offensive line. You could have gone for. There were still plenty of great running backs in this draft. There were a ton in this draft. You could have grabbed one of those in the second round if you wanted to. You could have gone offensive line, running back, wide receiver in the third round, and we still would have been fine. You would have gotten that offensive line. Look at some of these running backs that are rookies right now and how good some of them are doing.
I don't disagree with you, Jeff.
Had a really good game yesterday. Scadaboo had a good game yesterday.
Agreed.
Korsky, the kid from Washington, he's an up and coming.
He would have put it like this. What is the guarantee? That's why I'm telling you. All these guys.
And where's the guarantee with Genty? We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it.
Because our offensive line is trash.
Correct. But are we saying that Genty's the problem or are we saying the O-line's the problem?
No, I'm not saying Genty's the problem. I am not saying he's the problem. It's the offensive line. But what good is having that top running back in the draft when you don't have the line that can get him used like you want to have him? Like you have visions of having him running like he did in Boise. You ain't going to do it with this offensive line. And people are like, well, he played in Boise. Yeah, he played in Boise against lesser talent. What happened when he went up against Penn State? They pretty much shut him down. And shutting him down.
Really. They shut him down because the same way he's getting shut down now is he ain't got nobody blocking for him. He's still got 100 yards against him.
Again, that's just it, though, too, because the offensive line couldn't match up with that defense from Penn State. Right. So of course he got let. He didn't have the game that he had in the past.
Yeah.
Against other less talent. So now
I'm not going to put it at the.
I'm going to put him in the NFL against an inferior offensive line against top-notch defensive teams. Like if Khalil Mack didn't go down last Monday night with a dislocated elbow,
we're getting. But again, this is where I go back to it, Jeff. Like I love what Jay Downs said. We have the guys. I just really feel it's the coaching. I feel like they're not being coached up. They're not being told the correct things. And there might be a guy that's playing out of position, which is Jordan Barrett.
Some of the players are just that bad too. Parham is not good. Even when Philbin was there last
but he
year.
wasn't that bad. He wasn't as bad as he was right now. I mean, like
It was pretty close. It was pretty close.
I mean, he
It was pretty close. He had some pretty fucking he had some duds last year. It
and
was
Jordan
pretty
Meredith looked a lot better last year than he did this year.
bad. At guard.
Hang on, I gotta give this for Furpo.
Raiders.
Nice,
Can't
Furpo.
deny
Nice.
my guy. So,
For season.
I don't know. I mean, what do we know what the answer is? No.
No.
The team doesn't even know what the answer is.
I really want to
don't know.
see. Hey, I'm on the train where I want to see JPJ get moved back to center. I want to see at least one of those positions solidified, and if it's going to be anything, the center needs to be solidified on the interior offensive line. It's the guy that leads the whole. He's.
But they
go ahead.
But they moved him from center for a reason, and it was shown in the preseason because when he was still playing center and Kappa was still playing right guard in preseason, it was Kappa that was calling the audibles at the line because JPJ wasn't getting him right. That's part of the reason why they moved him out of center. You can't have somebody playing center and then your tackle or your guard giving out the signals.
Actually, you can.
No.
Actually, a guard can be your
You can, but it doesn't work that well. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, you're saying, hey, it doesn't work well. How well is it working right now?
It's not.
So I'll be like,
But and also
I'm
he
gonna
hasn't
go
been
like,
out for 2 games either. So I mean,
so and that's where I'm questioning a lot of things because I mean, like we keep seeing this guy get put back on the injury list, and then he comes back off, and then we say he's good, but he doesn't play, and he only played special teams, and you say, oh, it's because we didn't have any contact in practice, but our tackling is suffering during the game. So I'd be like, this is where I'm like, man, there's a lot of questions and a lot of answers that need to be answered by the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a lot.
Lack of physicality comes because you're not being physical in practice. Because you don't practice that. Because you don't do things a certain way.
Well, just like Pete said this, in their press conference yesterday that they didn't hit at all last week because they only technically had 1 day of practice.
But that's an excuse.
I know it is.
That's an excuse. So even if you technically have 1 day of practice, then you better be bringing the fucking wood that day. I mean, like
they didn't do any physical practices last week at all.
No.
So have you guys heard of this terminology? You practice the way you play.
Mm-hmm.
If you practice like shit, you're gonna play like shit.
Yeah. So let's break down yesterday's game.
Okay.
In essence, and I'm not. This is not an excuse, but it is technically factual.
It's starting to sound like one though.
No, I love it. Go ahead. Hit me with it.
Go ahead, Jason.
Shut up, Jeff. Commanders had 9 days of solid practice and preparation. We had 5. That's an advantage. That's 4 days advantage. Okay. And that's where a lot of that, you saw that in the special teams. That's where, because we got our ass kicked in special teams. But universally in the NFL yesterday, everybody's special teams sucked yesterday. I don't know if you watched any of the other games. Yeah. We weren't the only one. There was a lot of kickoff returns and punt returns. And there was 3 games. There was 2 games, the Eagles game and the Jets game, back to back. I had them on a split screen up here. And they both had a block punt at the end of the game, or a block field goal at the end of the game. And it looked. At first, I thought I had the same game on one screen, and it was actually two games. It was crazy. So universally, yesterday the special teams sucked. Ours just happened to be the cream of the crop of sucking when we played yesterday, and that extra preparation. That's where some of the defensive adjustments that the Commanders were able to make to emphasize towards us. The Commanders basically ran the same concepts against us as what the Chargers did. They just took the Chargers game film and said, shit, we're just going to run that. Because that's all they're going to do. They're going to run long developing, moderate to long throws. They're going to expect Gino to sit back there for 2.5 to 3 seconds and read and scan the field. And so we're going to run a 4-man pressure with and delay the 5th and 6th man. So times have got to change.
After 1984, it's all been one excuse after another. It's true.
Nah.
So
and that. What's up, Eric? What's going on, man? Yeah, no pass rush at all.
So I'll tell you like this.
What's up, Slamming?
And Jay Jackson brought it up earlier.
What's up, Chewy?
It looked like we were running the same thing over and over again and just getting beat up doing the same thing. If you're a coach, we all played ball, right? It's 3rd and long. The run game isn't working. Why are we running play action? I'm going to ask another question. You see Marcus Mariota, you see Cliff Kingsbury, his mind exploded when he saw Marcus Mariota and we started doing different things. Why are we not running zone read with Geno Smith? Why are we not doing more things like that, which is in Chip Kelly's offense? It's in his repertoire. Why weren't we doing the same things to stress the defense? That stresses the defense when you have to worry about a quarterback running, about him throwing, about him doing all sorts of other things. Marcus Mariota looked like fucking Cam Newton yesterday.
Yeah, but Marcus Mariota's closer to a tailback version of a quarterback than what Geno is. Geno can't take a hit like Marcus Mariota can.
Slide.
Now, I said it Saturday. I go, what was one of the keys to the game, Jeff? You got to keep Mariota from the run option, not run pass option. He ain't gonna pass the fucking ball. He's gonna run. He's gonna either hand it to the tailback in the hole, or he's gonna pull it in. Soon as Max takes that jab step inside to go get the tailback, he's gonna keep it and boop right around the end. But fortunately, yesterday they only ran that play to the right side when they moved Max over to the left side, or when they moved Max to the opposite side. Then they ran it to the strong side of Mariota. That's when they were successful.
Mariota had 6 carries for 40 yards, a long of 22, and he got a rushing touchdown. Mm-hmm. So he killed us with his feet.
Which also made those inside zone runs more effective, because now they got to respect Mariota taking the ball, keeping the ball, and going outside. So it's now if they got a 1-on-2 on the edge, with one blocker, it's an advantage. Do I tackle the running back or do I tackle the quarterback? Because how many times after they were starting to be successful, you started to see Max go, you know what, fuck it, I am just going to go hit Mariota. And that's what he would do. He would just run and he just hit Mariota. So make sure you're not gonna, if he's gonna have the ball, not you.
Exactly, and that's the way you have to play that. So it's a pick your poison type of play, right? Yep. If you tell your end to play the dive, you want your overhang to take the sweep. You want your guy to take the outside run. So what you do is you tell him, hey, you know what? You go hit the quarterback, so that way it forces the dive.
Well, that's like when we played. I don't know how old you are, Will, but back in our day, when I played, a lot of teams that we played ran a wing T or triple option, it was always option. So I played outside linebacker.
Delaware wing
and
T.
My only responsibility on a quarterback option, just hit the quarterback. Period. The end.
Mm-hmm. And you tell your end to go after the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Crash. You pick up the stuff on the outside.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, though. I'm going to tell you, I love Max's solution at the end. Run through the fucking running back to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, if that right there was an amazing thing at the end, I wish he would have figured it out before and started doing it from the very beginning of the game. And they used Max's aggression against him.
Yep.
If you can't block him, read him.
Yep.
Tell me why Chip Kelly can't do the same fucking thing. If we can't block the guy, why are we not just reading him? I'd be like, obviously we can't block 5-on-4. Maybe we can block 5-on-3.
Yeah.
But we're not looking at very many solutions, I think. Our offensive creativity is not as creative as I thought it was going to be. I don't know where you guys feel on that, but I feel our offensive ability is stifled because our run game sucks.
Yep.
So it's
because
really,
our O line can't block. So it's just a vicious cycle. O line can't block. Running game's not working right. Geno Smith doesn't have the time to throw the ball. Offensive line's not blocking right. Running game's not good. Geno can't get time to throw the ball. It's just that vicious circle of the same shit over and over. Just like circling the wagons, and we ain't going anywhere. We're basically doing ring around the rosy, and it ain't fucking happening. True? We're all just falling down and doing nothing. So, I just what's up, Mario?
Ring around the rosy bullshit.
And like nobody's saying that nobody wants to give this coaching staff no time. Okay, like let's look at this because I just saw on the chat it says give the coaching staff 3 years. If it then they can draft. Chewy, we love you, bro. We're not saying get rid of the coaching staff. We're saying that there are certain problems that we need to address, and the most important thing is offensive line. And we didn't say fire the offensive line or
no, he's not suggesting that. He's saying just give it 3 years and we'll be okay if this staff can draft.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not panicking on the coaching staff.
We can draft right, yes. Do I think we drafted right this past season? No, I don't think we did.
I don't know.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, right now we say it was a bad draft, but
Colton Miller was supposed to be a terrible draft.
I'm on record as saying it from the start, so no one can ever say that I wishy-washy flip-flop on anything. I said it from back then that we should have gone offensive lineman. Yeah, I wanted Mason Graham too at that point, but I started really looking at the offensive line, and I'm like, no, we really need to go offensive line. And I was fine with trading out of that sixth pick overall. Move further back in the first round. Go for an offensive lineman. Get a second round pick, and hit your running back, wide receiver, or if you want to go for the best quarterback at that time. If you really that was before Geno. Now keep that in mind. Then that's what I would have done.
I think, Jeff, it's too early. I think we need another 3 years to evaluate what we do in this draft. Look at Colton Miller. People were saying that he was trash, that he wasn't the. Now everybody's over there telling us that he's the best offensive lineman that we got. I think we need about 3 years to evaluate this draft. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Miller was supposed to be a bust. People were saying that he was trash. I think we need a couple years to evaluate this draft, but I agree with you that our biggest glaring need as a team we did not address, which is offensive line.
Fuck you, Bueno. I did not want to trade him.
Well, hey, we already know who that was. That was James. Call James Bingham right there. Hey, right there, bro. Let him know what
Leo wanted him too. Leo was all for
shit. Leo had a jersey already made up and was ready to go.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, so to kind of with Will and Jeff here.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go off for a smoke. You guys keep talking it up. I'll be right back.
All right.
Jason, you can control.
Yeah, we're going to run your numbers up now. Watch. So I'm going to give a little pushback on this, on what Jeff was saying with the draft and saying it's been a bad draft. We don't know yet.
I agree.
Okay. We don't know yet. And there's certain principles to the draft. And a lot of coaches are different. And Bill Belichick was one of those too with his draft as well. A lot of these coaches that have been around a long time will tell you that even though you draft a person, it doesn't matter where you draft them, but the fact that you drafted him, you bring him in, you're bringing him in from the college level into the pro level. Okay. Early success for a rookie could be just as detrimental to the rest of their career as early failures. Okay. So if you put a rookie out there and he has a lot of early failures and like tons of failure, you have done a kid that probably had ultimate talent to be successful in the NFL. You ruined him. You ruined his psyche and you ruined his ability to get better because now he's just constantly failing. There's no success. So sometimes, like with Jack Besh, I'm going to use Jack Besh as an example. He's a second round pick. I still don't think that was a bad pick. I really don't. And okay, well, he's not playing. Well, he's getting a player or two here on offense. Okay. And when he does, sometimes he catches the ball. Yesterday, he made a couple pretty good blocks on some run plays. Wasn't too bad. Okay. And he's doing fairly well on special teams. All right. But you got to give him little chunks of success and let him build off of that. Instead of just throwing him out, he's a second round pick, you put him out there. Why didn't you put him out there? It's a waste of a pick. Now, we knew when we brought him in that, at least us Raider fans, the coaches didn't know, but us Raider fans knew that we still got Tucker, who's going into his third year. Okay. We got Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers is the key to our passing game to begin with. Okay. And we got Michael Mayer. And, Ginty out of the backfield or Mostert out of the backfield was going to be the key to our passing offense. We weren't looking for a juggernaut passing offense, but one that maybe could get us 24, 27 points a game, and then let our defense, let them bring their level of success up to us and make us a decent competitive team. You know what I mean? That's what I was looking for. What I saw yesterday, you know what? I hope to God that what happened yesterday lights a little fire into their ass going into the Chicago Bears game. And the Chicago Bears could look at the Commanders and go, you son of a bitch, you shouldn't have beat them so bad. It made it bad for us. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
Maybe they come out, a little fire under their ass, come out, and just, just knock the shit out of them. We don't care how many penalties you get. If you get an unsportsmanlike penalty or roughing the passer penalty or who cares? Fuck it. Go out there, win the game. Win the game. Just beat them. That's all. I don't even care if we win 3-0 next week. Just win.
It doesn't matter whether you win by 1 point or 10 points or 100.
Just win. Just put one in our pocket, because the game after that, I don't like to look past the next one, but I had Indianapolis pegged as an easy win. Bullshit, that ain't no easy win. Them boys, Indianapolis is a legit. That Daniel Jones is rocking and socking, and Jonathan Taylor is no joke. You want to talk about generation talent? That he's generational talent.
100%. All right, so I'm going to go with you here, Jay Down. So I think we needed at least 3 years to evaluate the draft that we have had this year. To say that all these players are a bust or they're not good enough at this time, we can't say whether they were drafted too high, too low, anything. There's not enough film. There's not enough time yet. I think for us to say, hey, these guys were drafted at a place, it's premature. It's something that I think all Raider Nation wants to do because we want to win right now.
We're hungry for winning.
Yes. And really, players need about 2, 3, maybe 4 years to develop and to see what they can do. So, to be honest with you, I'm there with you that we need to hold up and let things happen, see what they go down, and see where they need to be evaluated. Now, with Spytech and everything like that, what I will say is this, is that the way I'm going to evaluate Spytech is by how many players are on the roster in 2 to 3 years from now from this draft. Looking at players like Mellott, looking at players like Cam Miller, looking at players like our receivers right now, Hopkins. I'm looking at our right guard that we drafted in the 3rd round that we haven't seen. Our offensive linemen that you said, hey, we drafted these guys, but we haven't seen on the field. Will they be on the roster? Will they be making plays? That is what I want to see in 3 years. Will Genty be the guy that we drafted? Those are all the things that I will use to evaluate Spytech in about 2 to 3 years. But to do it right now is premature.
Way premature.
Hey, these guys haven't hit yet. Peyton Manning didn't hit his first year. Guys like that didn't hit their first year.
No, there's a lot of guys that did not have success their first year, And then let's go to C.J. Stroud. Let's use him as an example. He was rock solid his rookie year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What are they? I believe the Texans are 0-3 this year.
And again, growing pains. A guy that's being evaluated year by year to say, hey, well, just because he's having a rough year, does he automatically suck now?
But like I said earlier, is sometimes a guy can have early success in his rookie year, and then going forward, it hinder him. It becomes like, well, next year, my sophomore, I ain't worried about no sophomore slump. Look what I did in my rookie year. You know what I mean? And and the next thing you know, they're not as good as they were their rookie year.
Well, let me ask you this. We just, in talking about that, Max Crosby came out and said, hey, in his first year, he really didn't like JPJ. But then in his second year, he's really seen JPJ come back and turn it up and like put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that JPJ is not out there on the field? Why is he being held back? Why? And that's where I'm like, I have questions.
There has to be something in his practice films that they're seeing that just, well, this week, why he didn't play this? Obviously, he didn't play against Chargers because he had a concussion. He was in concussion protocol. He wasn't eligible to play because he was in concussion protocol. When did he clear concussion protocol this week? It was Thursday. That's when he cleared, right? So he was a full participant Thursday afternoon in practice. Okay. Well, they already have the game. They already had the game plan set at that point. Now, I don't mind the fact that they didn't start JPJ in that game because of that. Because it was a short week. They went ahead. They already had the people that they were going to, the lineup that they had. They'd already been practicing. They had all the game film. They had all the preparation. The scripted plays they're already invested in the scripted plays and what the game plan is going into the game. All right. So that doesn't bother me that they didn't quote unquote start him, but somewhere in the middle of the second quarter, they should have went, okay, this is bullshit. I'm tired of my quarterback running for his fucking life. 58, get your helmet on, get out there. And then move. And I would have replaced I would have put him in Parham's position. I would have just put him at left guard. I mean, it just, at least Kappa was getting beat, but it took a little while to beat him. Parham, he was getting beat the moment he broke the huddle. He was already beat.
So
I love it.
This is an excerpt from today's questions, right? It says, Pete Carroll, when asked if Raiders will make changes to the O-line, head coach Pete Carroll said, we need to keep developing. He added, they are working at the right guard spot. He wants to get JPJ back involved, but their young players like rookie Caleb Rogers are not ready yet. We have what we have, and we've got to make our guys do better.
We get it. Jay Down said it earlier. We got what we got. We have to make what we got work. But here's the thing. I keep going back to it. If we have the players, then it has to be the coach. It has to be your O-line coach that is not getting the information to your players. We keep saying, oh, we got to keep developing. I'd be like, if your coach can't develop players, then what the fuck are we developing? But bad habits, bad footwork, bad technique, inability to call out blocks, inability to do anything. So what are we developing? There's my question, right? Like, I look at it and I keep saying, hey, I don't feel like we don't have the talent on the O-line. I feel like we have the talent on the O-line to make a stand. I'm not going to tell you we got a 1,000-yard rusher sitting behind like anybody or that we run the football. No. You have to have a stud back there for us to do something like that. But I think, again, this is where I go.
Kyle.
Who's developing? This is the reason I believe that we're struggling. It's not that we don't have the talent.
Did you say who's the GOAT?
Coach them.
Did you say who's the GOAT?
No.
Oh, they said who's the GOAT.
No.
Well, I thought you were using it in the old school verbiage of the GOAT, which is, years ago, the GOAT wasn't a good thing to be called. Now it's like the greatest thing.
So go ahead. Hit us what it was back in the day. The GOAT.
Back in the day, GOAT meant you were the scapegoat. You were the reason they were bad, or you were bad. So you were the GOAT.
So I think in my opinion, I'm really looking at the offensive line coach to really say like, hey,
And I totally agree 100%. He's listen, he's never coached in the NFL ranks before. He's been a college coach at best. And wasn't he was what was he before in college? Was he an offensive line coach or was he defensive?
I have no
More like
idea.
a quality control coach.
And
Yeah,
that's the
right.
thing.
So
When you're
what are his credentials to put him in that position other than the fact that his dad's the head coach?
and that's where I have struggled with, and that's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I get it. You want to be a good dad. You want to bring up your son. I'll be like, my son's coaching now, and I enjoy that my son's coaching. But at the same time, I go like, hey, you know what? Like, you got to cut your own teeth. You got to grow in this game. Make him a quality control coach. Make him something where, hey, you're learning under somebody. I don't give a fuck if you're 30, 40 years old. This is the NFL. Head coaches are 65, 70. I like you're young in this game if you're coaching at 40.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to develop as a coach.
Yeah, you don't have to be the next McVay. You don't have
Mm-mm.
to be the next freaking Shanahan. Hey, you're the next Pete Carroll's son.
But does Brennan Carroll have the gumption to go to Joe Philbin, pull Joe Philbin inside and say, hey,
hell no.
What am I doing wrong?
Jay,
Where do we?
He don't got the. I don't think. I'm gonna tell you like this. If I was the guy, I'm looking for questions. I'm answering. If you have those type of coaches around you, and you're a good coach, you're curious. Good coaches are curious. You're looking for that information.
Yeah.
So I would be in that guy's fucking hip pocket trying to learn as much as I could. But then there's some coaches that want to have swagger, that want to feel like they know everything, and those are the bad coaches. Those are the guys that can't ever learn from anybody else, that they think they know everything, that you know what, I've been doing it like this since I've been brought up. And, I'd be like, I've seen those guys.
Yeah.
But the good coaches, man, are always curious. They're always willing to learn. They're always willing to adapt. They always want to have a little ace up their sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm like, man, I really don't feel like he's going to the other guys around him and using them. And if we are, then shame on us. Then shame on Phil. Because this is what you're putting out as a experienced head coach and an experienced guy, then we have a lot more problems than we really think.
Yeah.
I just didn't think the offensive line was going to be this bad.
I didn't
because I actually saw some improvement in them last year. Towards the end of last year, I saw some improvement, and like I said that we had that. I think it was week 15 or 16 that Abdullah got 100 yards. We were running. We had like 150 yards rushing that game, and it was like okay, we kind of got it. But I mean, who was the offensive line at that time? I mean, we had JPJ at left guard, Miller at left tackle. He was finally healthy. JPJ at left guard. We had AJ or whatever the hell his name was at center, and Meredith at right guard, and Glaze at right tackle. So, I mean, there's 4 of the 5 guys right there that are on this line this year that played last year in that lineup, the way it was set. And it's just like, really in honesty, the offensive line, they're doing this. Experiment. Everybody calling it experiment. There's no experiment. You think a baseball manager experiments with his lineup? No. You're gonna put the fastest guy is gonna be the number 1 hitter, and the guy that can stroke it out of the park is gonna be the number 4 hitter. Boom. Yep. That's it. You do the same thing with the offensive line. With our offensive line, you put the guys in the position that they're best suited for. Is JPJ a better center than he is guard? Well, he proved it last year. We know that. But what has happened since then has caused this to happen, and we know he's been there all off season this year versus last year. He wasn't with the team in the off season. He wasn't even active till the second week of the season last year because he had that concussion in the OTAs and it just lingered all the way through, which That's another story, but it lingered through training camp, and he really wasn't available until the second game of the season. This year, he's been there the whole year. What has happened? What changed from last year to this year? And is it because he wasn't making the right calls? Really? There are so many different. You can. I mean, when I played,
get a straight answer. That's the downside.
When I played in high school, our center didn't make the calls. The guards made the calls. The quarterback told us which direction we were going, and that guard was responsible for the call. So if we were running it to the right, the guard was the right guard was responsible for the call, or to the left guard was responsible for the call. And then each guard, if it was the right guard's turn to make the call, the left guard would make a dummy call so the defense didn't catch on to it.
Raider Pete, I'm saving thousands now that I've canceled game trip to Indy and game trip to Vegas. Just not worth my family's money, time, and effort.
Yeah, that's a sad thing.
And I'm going to tell you what, Raider Pete.
I mean, for me, I would still be going to Vegas if I had a trip planned because I've never been, so I would still be going. I mean, even in the last week, I've solidified that I am definitely going to Philly. So the wife and I are going to Philadelphia. It's a 4.5
Let's go.
So we're going to drive down. So, I mean, if I had the time to go, I would have actually probably gone to the Washington game. That's an 8-hour drive for that. But if they were playing Baltimore or New York this year, I'd probably be going to those games too. Definitely New York. Next year, we're playing the Jets, by the way, in New York. So
I'm going to tell you like this, Raider Pete. Like, I feel bad because the team is losing and the struggles of Raider Nation is tough. But when you go on a trip, man, and you go on these things, guys, don't make it just about the game. Make it about sharing time with your Raiders family, with the people around you. Make those type of memories because those type of memories are going to last longer and they're going to like really make the game stand out. And I've really taken to that now that I travel more. I'll be like, I've been traveling to more games. I went to see the game with Jeff. What made that game special besides the win, was just seeing Jeff in person and hanging out with him and experiencing different things. And that's really what it's about.
And that's how I started the show off today too, Will. I said, as down as everybody gets and people don't want to travel for games, I said, people, LV Gear reached out to me yesterday. He goes, what a shit game. He goes, but I would have still come anyway. He goes, just because of meeting everybody and hanging out with Raider fans. And I said, that's what it's all about. In all honesty, it's not so much the game. Yeah, the game is the added bonus to it, especially if we win. Like everybody that came out here to New England got to experience the win out here on the East Coast. That made that trip even better. It made it worthwhile, But what really makes it is just the camaraderie of being around so many other Raider fans, and you make these connections and these friendships, that, Will and I were friendly to begin with, and so was myself and Mike from Raiders Against the World. But once you finally get to meet them and hang out with them and sit and talk and enjoy their company, you become genuine friends with people. You got someone that you're going to be friends with for the rest of your lives. Even though I've never met Jason in person, Jason Downs, I know that if him and I met up somewhere and sat down, dude, we would have been like best friends since we were kids type of thing, because we got the same mentality. There's just a lot of things in common, and it's not just the Raiders in common. It's just life in general sometimes, we
kind of travel down the same road.
As humans, experiences that you can't put a price on those experiences is what it comes to, I guess. It might cost you a couple grand to go away for a weekend or whatever. So treat it as a vacation too, with the bonus of going to a football game while you're on vacation. So that's kind of how you have to look at this. It's not so much because the team sucks, but just everything you get out of that experience. Like going to Philly. I know we don't have a legit shot to beat Philadelphia, but I'm still going. Hotel's already booked. We're going to go down there and we're going to have a good time.
Yeah. Nothing's better than taking a Buffalo Bills fan, shoving them in a porta potty and duct taping it shut. That was fun.
And I'd be like,
"What's up, brother?" He goes, I feel bad enough spending the $300 for Sunday. Yeah, but you know what? I go to the bar and watch all the games. I still get the Sunday ticket. You know why? Because on times where we're playing like a primetime game or whatever, come Sunday, I can watch any game I want. So if I don't want to get stuck watching the Patriots play like the Cleveland Browns, I can watch like the Rams and the Eagles yesterday. That was a great game.
Yeah.
If I would have paid attention to that game, I would have been thoroughly entertained because that was a great game. Two powerhouse teams in the NFC playing each other, you know. So I love my Sunday ticket. I still get it.
Yeah.
I still have it.
And I mean, like, it's been really cool, man. Like I tell people, traveling with the nation, and I mean, like, I travel with my wife. Sometimes I travel with my kids. I'll be like, we try to get out as much as we can.
Maybe I'm the good luck charm. Maybe we will win in Philly.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll be like, shoot, hey, we started freaking putting Jeff in the seats every freaking game we go to.
To reach out to Mark Jones.
We can win that game.
We can. I think we can win any game. It's any given Sunday, right? Like
we can win that game.
At the end of the day, but at
the Browns beat the Packers yesterday.
Hey, you ain't lying.
Yeah.
But let's put it like this: if you're looking at the sheet right now and it's a game like you're making your win-loss record, you're not putting Philly down as like very far, and few people are putting down Philly as a win. You know.
I always say we're going to win just because of me being a diehard Raider. I'll never pick us. I won't pick us to lose. When I look at it in a logical sense, like when I looked at the schedule, when I went through it with Chris before the season started, and we did the win losses, I put it to reasoning on how the team looked and everything. That I gave us losses and wins, but every week, regardless, I still pick us to win. Like I do a pick'em league. I never pick us to lose. I always pick us to win because the times we do win, I'm one of the only ones out of like 40 people that are in that pick'em league that pick the Raiders to win.
I'm so biased, I can't do it either. I do the same fucking thing.
And if I know it's going to cost me,
I always have to put the lowest amount of points in the pick'em league or whatever it is because we have a points like pick'em league.
Yeah.
If it's the Raider game, it has to be the lowest points because I'm going to pick the Raiders automatically. So it doesn't even fucking matter.
The one thing that I don't do is I don't bet on the Raiders.
Oh, I can't bet on the Raiders either. I'm notoriously bad.
Ain't nothing worse than losing money and losing a game at the same time. It just makes it worse.
I have that rule too, man. I cannot bet on the Raiders game. Nope.
Hey, Caleb, if you're going to that Phillies game, hit me up on Instagram or whatever. I'll let you know. Just keep an eye on me on Instagram because once they start
that's going to be hot,
stuff that the Black Hole's going to be doing down there, I'll have all the hookups on all the parties and everything. I already got the hookup for the hotel that most of the fans are going to be staying at. So that's where I got my room booked already.
I'm telling you, man, we're bringing the heat to that fucking cold city. It's going to be burning up. You're going to see a badass tailgate. You're going to see
I'll still be there in shorts no matter how cold it is.
A public service announcement. We will be opening up a GoFundMe account for Jeff for his bail ticket.
Yeah.
Just in case we need to post bail for him at Lincoln Financial Stadium.
So make sure that
if anybody's interested, we're taking softly used clothes. We'll even take undergarments if they're still in the package.
I will. I don't wear underwear. I will. No, I'm kidding. I will give you a full report of what the Philadelphia Eagles stadium jail cell looks like. Oh, where'd Will go?
Yeah, he just said, "I gotta go."
Bye, Will.
Yeah.
No, I don't anticipate any problems there. Wink, wink.
Nah. It's not a natural rivalry, so usually you don't have issues like that. It's the regular rivalry. Some of the worst games that I saw at the Oakland Coliseum were between the 49ers and the Broncos. And I saw a guy at a Raider game, and it was during warm-ups. He's got this brand new Broncos starter jacket on, real beautiful, people booing him. And he threw both fingers up at the crowd that was booing him. That was a mistake. That starter jacket flew from the second deck all the way out to the field.
Oh.
And he wasn't in it.
Well, it's a good thing he wasn't.
Yeah. Two guys threw him on the ground, ripped it off of him, and threw it out on the field. He took off running. We don't know where I think he's still running down I-80. This is 20 years later.
What's up, Johns Hopkins? He goes, "Hi, fellas. I'm sorry, but the Raiders got cooked by not making a blockbuster trade for Crosby. This should have been the real rebuilding season." And that's what I've been saying.
You know what?
When he started crying about, "I got no money. I got no guaranteed money," I said, if teams come a calling, you answer the phone and you listen to what they're offering. Because if you can take it and run with it, this was before the draft. Take all the picks you can get for it. Yeah. And talk about rebuilding a team fast. Good God.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's worth at least 2 picks. At least 2 top 50 picks.
Hey, look we've screwed up the coaching staff and the front office fucked up with the draft picks we got for the Khalil Mack trade. All right. That was the year that we should have really had a rebuild into. This team would have been set if it was done right, but it wasn't. I would trust this regime that's in charge now if we would have made that trade, trading Crosby away and getting 2 first-round picks on top of our current first-round pick. So that would have given us 2 picks in the first round and possibly additional picks in the second or an additional third rounder too. Think of what we could have built. Just think about it. It would have been insane. Yeah. Absolutely nuts what we could have put together. With the talent that came out in this past draft, oh, hell yeah. Cheesesteak calzone. I did hear the trick on that, though. You don't, when you're in Philly, you don't go to a place that advertise where they say, we got the best Philly cheesesteaks. No, you just want to go to a place that just advertise cheesesteaks. Anybody that says Philly, they're not going to be good.
Actually, the trick to
cheesesteaks.
The trick to that is
from a Philly guy.
You look for the restaurants that sell the cheesesteaks, right? You drive by, and if there's a long line outside, you know they're good.
Yep.
Go stand in line.
Yep. If the place is empty, stay away.
Stay away.
Yeah, and you're right, Bueno. His value is dropping, and that's the thing. You ain't going to get shit for him. Because I tell you, it's going to get to a point where he's going to be like, I've had enough of this now. It's like, someone's going to start crying enough to be like, in the middle of the season, I want to be traded, because they see the writing on the wall. This is just not a good place right now. What's up, Jay?
Hey, the 49ers are 3-0, and they just lost Bosa for the rest of the year.
I get it. Hey, for the right price.
Yeah.
Give us what? Hey, you can keep your draft pick. We'll trade you Crosby for your best offensive lineman. How's that? I don't care if it's a left tackle. I'll take it.
Their left tackle is what's his name? 71. I picture the name.
Williamson?
No.
Well,
probably one of the best left tackles in the NFL, but he's old. You know what I mean? He's like 12-year veteran.
We'll take that center. We'll take their center or their right tackle. I don't care.
Yeah, their center's pretty good.
Too, Get it now while he's still hot and before he gets hurt.
Yep.
Before
Why not? Well, the 49ers are making phone calls for defensive ends. Because once they got the news that Bosa was going to be out with his ACL, and I'm pretty sure they're going to move on from him after this.
Hey, I'm sure they could probably get Von Miller for a decent price from the Redskins.
Yeah, but Von Miller's he's basically a designated hitter. They put him in 10 plays a game. That's pretty much it.
Bosa's kind of a designated hitter too. He's hit or miss.
He's not.
I'm sorry.
He's a 2 or 3 down. He plays 2 or 3 downs per.
As a Lions fan, there is no fast rebuild. It takes at least 3 seasons. Oh, no, I get that, but it's just this offense, this line is just, it's a sieve, and that's being kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a hole in the bottom of a barrel, and you're trying to fill it up, and it ain't gonna fill.
Like 5 holes in the bottom of the barrel.
No, I mean like no bottom of the barrel at all. Just hold the barrel up here, fill that up. I can't.
It's like pouring gasoline in a styrofoam cup.
It just melts right out.
Has anybody ever done that in the chat? Don't do it. I highly suggest don't do that.
No. The fumes alone will hurt you.
You make a mess.
Would you trade Crosby to the Niners right now for 2 first-rounders? Hell yeah.
Yep, I would.
What's up, Hell Raider? What's going on, brother?
We're going to have the same success on defense with or without Max Crosby.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Be quite honest with you. There's going to be some wild plays. You go, he chased that guy all the way from the left side to the right side and tackled him. Ooh, that was a really good tackle. And then 20 plays later, hey, anybody see Max? Yeah, he's out there.
He's on the milk cotton again.
So, and I'm not, by no means am I trying to strike at Max because he's the
most valuable right now. But that's just it.
And is he the face of our franchise right now? Yeah. But I sure wish we had a quarterback of equal stature.
You're damn right, Jay, I would.
You know, Jeff would trade Max for magic beans. And no. 5 magic beans and a month's supply of Dunkin' Donuts.
Ooh. A month? No, gotta be more than that. Trade away Max Crosby. That should be lifetime coffee.
Yeah, you're just trying to get lifetime coffee.
Yeah, I am.
You're just trying.
Which reminds me, I'm almost empty.
Yeah, I got to go downstairs here in a minute. But I appreciate you letting me come on for Monday Morning Quarterback. I know I ain't as good looking as Chris, but
well, that's why you keep the dark camera. Hey, your old dark can't see.
Actually, you know what it is? It's the way the light is coming from behind me. I don't have any light right here.
You need some lights in front of you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fix that because
let's put it this way: if I didn't do the show with lights on,
well, I mean, I could turn. I don't have. I need. All I need is a light behind. I know I have this stupid thing, but it doesn't work. I have lights under the desk.
Even just the one light, it's just the shadows on one side of my face.
Yeah, so
I want everybody to see my beautiful face fully when I'm on camera.
But I am gonna readjust and reposition and have a light behind my camera that will. But then again, if you ask Bueno or Accelerator or any of those guys in the chat, they're like, we like JD dark. As soon as you brighten him up, he gets ugly.
Yep. Yeah, look what Campbell did. He had Goff, then built up the O-line while picking out Gibbs, Laporta. They knew exactly what the steps they wanted and needed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got the quarterback. We've got the running back. Mm-hmm. The problem is we put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
That's the big thing with the running backs.
They got some picks from the Rams in the Goff Stafford trade too, so that helped them build. They hit on their draft picks. You got to hit on the draft picks.
Yeah, they did. They hit on their draft picks. Well, have we? We don't know yet. We don't know if we've hit on our draft picks from this past season or this past draft. Genty showing signs. Thornton, he's hit or miss. Betch, absolutely not. I'm still going down and saying that was the worst second round pick I think I've seen us have in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Seriously, if Jeff goes to a Raiders game versus Squeeze when we win, I'm sending him a Dunkin' Donuts gift card straight to Rhode Island. I got no way of going. I'm not going to a Chiefs game.
Then you got Cool Kev in there. Cool Kev coming in hot on me.
Jason looks like he's doing a Dateline show. Yeah. You need that voice changer.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this earlier, but this is how I felt at the end of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
It's pretty much accurate. I mean, it's like you just wanted to scream. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I went and got my wife's tweezers and started pulling my hair out. I just pulling my.
Margin of victory, amount of coffee I put on the gift card. Well, we better win by more than one. I remember when the Lions were pissed because Campbell drafted Laporta. Yeah, you don't see many Lions fans upset right now.
Laporta's right there in that conversation with Bowers. You know, when he came, he fell in their lap. It was like, you can't pass that kid up.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You can't pass it. And look at what Tyler Warren's doing. Well, you're going to see Tyler Warren in a couple weeks. You'll see. That kid is legit.
See, and this is the other thing, too. You know, like Eagles can consistently draft O-line and develop them. I don't have any confidence in us developing our offensive linemen with who's currently in charge of that squad.
Yep.
You know, I mean, he's obviously he can't do it with the guys that are here, and they're all veterans. There's no rookies out there on that five-man line. Now you got 2 second-year players, but other than that, they're still not considered rookies. So these are veterans. These are guys that have gone around already. You know, and you can't even get them in line. You know, with their past experience and their knowledge of the position. You know, if Parham, I just don't. I know we keep going back to Parham, but it's like I just don't fucking get it. How you still consistently try and put him out there. There's no competition from him, but Pete Carroll sits there and says there's still competition for right guard. What the fuck am I missing? What am I missing? Does Parham have dirt on Pete Carroll and Pete Carroll's son? You know, is there something that he knows that no one else should know that's going to get them in trouble or something? I mean, why is this guy still starting?
Is there a personality? Has there been some type of personality conflict between Brennan Carroll and JPJ that occurred in that relationship that just ain't going to be fixed?
I don't know. It all seems like from the moment when he walked in the door and with the whole, you know, to Genti, I'm your center. It just since then it just hasn't felt right. Something was off. You know, we've got questions and we're not getting any answers, and that's what bugs me.
One of the things that I learned too, growing up, maybe you can attest to this when you were growing up as well, with the different style of coach. There were coaches, I don't know if you had coaches that were like this, but we did when I played. We had coaches that, they just love this guy. They think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You know, because he hustles, he picks up all the bags after practice. He's the first one in line. Yes, sir. No, sir. Kissing the coach's ass. Let me wash your car this weekend, coach. You know, I'll wash your car this weekend, coach, and doing all that shit. And the other guy that's next to him kicks his ass every time in every drill, but he's not playing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I had guys like that, definitely.
So I'm wondering if maybe that might be the circumstance here. That we've got a bunch of guys they're practice queens, and then when the lights get turned on, they curl up. Or maybe JPJ is quote unquote, and this is what they used to accuse me of when I played was, you're just a gamer. You go half-ass in practice, and then when the game comes on, you know, it's like, yeah, but we won, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think we practice to win. We don't practice to practice.
Or you had the kids that were practice warriors where they practiced their ass off and they got in the game and they were just like, dude.
Oh, yeah, they were lost. See, I was the opposite. I was one of those guys
and be like, oh yeah, you're playing today, and you get out there and the guy would just, you know.
I would walk from drill to drill instead of running, and everybody else is sprinting, and the coach is yelling, hustle, hustle, hustle. And I'm like, okay, well, when I get over there, I'm going to beat the shit out of that guy that's going to line up against me anyway. So what's the point? At least let him have some enjoyment before we get over there and start butting heads, you know. And then when we get in the game, I swear to God, man, I'll never forget the coach yelling at me. You're just a gamer. That's all you are, is just a gamer. And I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, but we won.
Thanks, Mikey. We appreciate that.
That's all that matters. But you do have to. I did learn now that I know now what I should have known then, is you should still your preparation and practice for football is very important.
Oh God, yeah. But there's something I wanted to say too, and I fucking lost when I went to this man.
Mikey G, You would pancake me? Yeah, we'll get you a pancake. All right.
Offensive tackle, offensive guard out of Omaha.
Right on.
Well, I guess I'm going to call it.
Yep.
In 2.5 hours.
Sounds good.
Thank you for coming on with me. And
no, I appreciate it. Anytime you need me to fill in any of the shows, just let me know ahead of time.
Yeah, I just wanted to come on and start it off alone. I figured you were going to pop up at some point. So.
It's okay, but I will never call you a loner. Okay? Never call you a loner.
It just felt nice to do a little bit by myself. Yeah. I'm always with someone else on screen. Yeah. So.
But when you're the superstar, sometimes you got to be a superstar by yourself.
There we go.
I even changed the lyrics to the song.
What's up, Ernest? We have 14 more weeks of this crap. Hopefully not. Yeah, exactly. Later, Hell Raider. All right, everybody. Thank everybody for being in the
Raider
chat.
Nation, thank you guys. Bueno, Cook, Weber, Mikey G.
Hope I was able to fill your afternoon with some fun talk about our awesome Raiders offensive line, because I seen what this was. It was just like a bashing on the offensive line. You know what it was? I really needed to get on here and do this today, this Monday morning quarterback thing, because I can't talk about this tomorrow night on the Most Notorious podcast. I have to keep a straight edge on Tuesday nights, because that's more talking about Black Hole, the Black Hole organization, the games coming up and events going on and promoting the Black Hole.
Yeah.
So I can't really vent about how bad I think the team is. Yeah. So you will never see me do that on a Tuesday night talking shit about the team. But on Wednesday nights and Thursdays and all the other shows I do, oh hell yeah. Tuesday nights is the only night that I'm more geared towards like talking about the Black Hole. So, but
I came on today with you because I tried to make an appointment with my shrink and he wasn't available, so I needed to get out somehow.
So, so we were your therapy session today.
This was therapy.
Me in the chat and Will.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being with me for the last 2.5 hours. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you all. Jason, thanks for coming on with me, and to my guy Will for coming on and spending some time with us. So we'll. Jay, I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just in the zone today. Took me an hour and a half to set the studio up because I kept falling asleep as I was typing it up. I was in a bad spot this morning.
I'll get with you later, Jay.
So, yeah. So that's the end of today. And thanks for the super chat that I got earlier. I appreciate that. And as I always say, everybody stay safe and go Raiders.
Raiders.